Dragon Ball Super prices are actually just going insane. And just Dragon Ball in general, it's just a crazy, crazy, crazy hobby. And I'm going to be honest, when Dragon Ball Super first came out, I was skeptical of it because you kind of, back in 2018, you didn't really think anything could go up against the big three, being Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon. And now we're in a scenario where Pokemon is just going to the moon, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is so underrated, and people just, it's starting to go up and it's starting to make moves, but people aren't even really looking at it. You don't hear people talking about it. But now you've got Digimon, and Digimon's just going Digimon's going crazy. People are lining up for blocks. They just did not anticipate the demand, so not enough product has been printed. It's sold out everywhere. People are waiting for restocks of it. And now you've got Dragon Ball. And there was a point in time where Dragon Ball was essentially just being fire sold by all large wholesalers and distributors. There was a point where Dragon Ball boxes were meant to retail for like $100 US, and then they were at like as low as $30, sometimes under, for sets for like set 4, which I think was called, I can't remember the exact name, maybe Colossal Warfare. So I'm actually doing all this video off memory. I don't have any prices in front of me, but just kind of what I've experienced, because I was always looking at Dragon Ball from day one. Always like, looking, should I stock this? Is this something worth going for? And I would look at Dragon Ball and I would see on release, the prices would evaporate. There was only ever value in a handful of super rares, maybe one or two, a handful of special rares, maybe one or two super rares were above $10 to $15. And then you had this secret rare, which was one per box, and there was only one secret rare. So, it was not one per box, one per case, my bad. So one every 12 boxes. And, maybe it went for $100 or $200. Some just didn't go for much at all. And I kind of looked at Dragon Ball and I've really thought, wow, Dragon Ball Super, this is not the Panini version of Dragon Ball, not the score. This isn't going to go anywhere. And now looking back, Dragon Ball, at least Dragon Ball cards as a collectible have gone absolutely insane. And everything was set up from the get-go for it to kind of happen when you look at it. I mean, Dragon Ball is a 30-odd year IP. It's touched the imaginations of so many people. Like millions and millions of people know who Goku is. Goku is probably up there in recognizability with Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Iron Man. It's just a huge cultural icon in the West and in the East. And now we have this market for the Dragon Ball cards. The penultimate Dragon Ball Super card, the Ultimate Instinct, Awakened Hero Son Goku, I think it's called. PSA 10 selling for like $10,000 US. When this card first out and was being graded in 2019, early 2018, I think, I remember seeing the pop report soar for this card. Almost every month it was going up, doubling or tripling. But then it kind of petered out. And the set that it came out in was called Tournament of Power, and it had come out after the the disaster with the original couple of sets, which were just overprinted to the moon. And it was meant to have a limited release, and maybe the people behind Dragon Ball Super, Bandai, they just kind of decided to limit how much they were going to print. And that was one of the things that I was saying at the time, was like, wow, this game is just printing too much product that people do not want. They have to cut back how much they put out there, and maybe the singles prices will stabilize and have more value. And yeah, it's done that. It's just gone crazy. Like, you cannot get Dragon Ball product right now. It's impossible. It actually is really, really hard to get Dragon Ball product, and that's definitely helping the collectability. A release comes out, it sells out. And I think it's kind of snowballing in a way, because I look at it and I go, 12 months ago this wouldn't be happening. It was hard to get the product 12 months ago, but people wouldn't be paying way over MSRP for the product. And I think that's, the fallout of, this current climate due to a certain thing that we can't really talk about, because you know how these things work. If you don't know about how these things work, open your eyes. Open your eyes. Do not be a sheeple to the ways of the audio world and the devices that track everything. um, yeah. So moving on from that crypticness, um, yeah. So we've got two things, and I think a lot of these things are compounding. People have seen the rise of sports cards in Pokemon, and they want to throw money into other things. We're in a market where inflation is going up. There's a handful of people that do not want to store money in legal tender, so currency, keep it in the bank account, because there's no incentive to. A lot of more traditional investments like property, people are just priced out of, especially if they live in like a highly populated center, and that's only going to get worse. That's a problem. Affordable housing is an issue that is facing like my generation. Like, I'm 25 years old, and the generations to come. If you live in a highly densely populated city of maybe 3 or more million people, will you be paying $1 million to buy an apartment? Like, if your job is tied there, if your family and your life is tied there, it's very hard to break away from that and go live somewhere cheaper. I think that's what a lot of people are paying for. They're paying for a lifestyle. They're paying for accessibility to a lot of their friends. They're paying for a nightlife. They're paying for shit that they can do on a weekend. That's the type of stuff that they pay for, and that's the type of stuff that everyone has to go in for. And in this trading card world, go get a $200,000 house deposit on on a large property or something. Maybe that's a bit much. Maybe that's in my city, but maybe $80,000 for a house deposit on a property that is 10 or times or more your average salary. That's probably not a good use of your money if you're into collectibles and you're into the percentage gains that collectibles offer compared to more traditional investments. But we've seen things like Tesla. You've seen things like Bitcoin. Everyone wants to throw money at something, and Dragon Ball is just in this perfect storm of people want to jump on the next big collectible. The product is scarce. The cards weren't printed in a quantity which really serves that market right now. Especially in America, you have all these stimulus checks, or even all over the world. A lot of people are sitting at home with money that they're getting from the government, and they want to spend it on something. And this money should go to your rent and your bills and all that. Well, under certain government schemes, people are being quite well taken care of. Really, your mileage may vary on that one, but you also don't have your regular expenses. You're not paying for petrol. You're not going out. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. So you have more money to spend online, and I think that's injected a lot of capital into these collectible markets. And when you look at Dragon Ball, the cards weren't easy to pull. The print runs were made much smaller. It's concentrated in a handful of cards. Like, really not many cards people go in on for Dragon Ball. It's the secret rares, or it's the prize cards, or it's a handful of promos, or it's the signature SPRs, or whatever they're called. And I was even like looking at it before COVID. It's like, these SPRs, $60 ish, $60 to $100. We probably should go in on this, and I didn't really go in on it. I was like, oh yeah, that would be nice, but I was like, you know what? There's this thing called Pokemon. No, I was just more, like, why split things up? I'm already doing Pokemon, already doing Yu-Gi-Oh, already hoarding a little bit of NBA every now and then. I don't like to bet on the players. I prefer to go in on sealed product because it's like, you have the basket of players. They could all be good. And, NBA product basically does what Pokemon product does, except that it does it a lot faster because people are actively destroying product that is made less of relative to Pokemon. So I didn't really want to jump into another thing and split myself even further, but it's really interesting to see Dragon Ball rise up, and I think it's here to stay. I think maybe a couple of cards are a bit high. If you go look at TCG Player and what cards are listed at, and then you go look at what things actually sell for on eBay, there's a world of difference, couple of $100, But those eBay sold listings, that's what you should be using as a gauge, especially for Dragon Ball, especially for more expensive stuff, because either an individual's gone in, or a group of people, or everyone's just had a big rush and they've gone at it and they've gone for these cards. Maybe that's what's happened, and it's all just evaporated in one go, and there just isn't enough out there to really fulfill that demand, so it just stays like that. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Dragon Ball kind of matures and how Dragon Ball goes, because Dragon Ball came out in the right time, the same time as Pokemon, the same time as Yu-Gi-Oh, the same time as Digimon, and all these IPs that were the gateway drug to anime There was no other way to experience these shows or anything like these shows. People had to sit down and look at these things every morning before they went to school, because that's all that was on. That was what was licensed. So I think these IPs, they debuted in the West at the right time, and now this Western market full of collectors and full of people that just like to have it's cool looking stuff, and it's hoarding it, and it's having it like it on yourself, or people that have like shrines to go through, or huge displays, or pay $300 for an unlicensed resin statue from Japan, stuff like that. People go after that stuff. People go in on that stuff. They like to own that stuff and collect it, and it just ties into collecting so well. So I really think that Dragon Ball has serious staying power. I think maybe this high-end stuff plateaus a little bit, but in the long run, the stuff that is established now, and especially the stuff that's older, like, if someone said to me, should I invest in Dragon Ball? I'd be like, maybe don't look at the new stuff and go look at Dragon Ball Score, because it's the original kind of Western product. And I understand that there is a Dragon Ball card game product, or maybe a couple that came out before Score, but Score is like base set, and modern is like your hyper rares and all that. I guess it's maybe a strange analogy to have, but yeah, like there just isn't many of these cards out there, and I think their scarcity really cushions any negative impact that could happen from the product. And I think it's a really, really cool little buffer to have. And I think just because no one's going to be able to get it and people will want it, people will go after it, and we'll definitely evolve into the point where less people play the game, more people collect the Dragon Ball Super cards. And with the constraints that the manufacturing in Japan has right now, like the demand to pump out Pokemon, the demand to pump out Digimon, Weiss Schwartz, Vanguard, Yu-Gi-Oh! There are so many different trading card games in Japan. It's actually really cool, really fascinating. I'm actually super interested in them, and I want to talk about more of them on this channel. It's going to be really interesting, and I can't wait to see it all. Well, I think that's it for the Dragon Ball video. I think comment below if you got this far, what you'd like me to talk about in Dragon Ball. If you think I've hit the nail on the head, tell me. If you think I'm an idiot, tell me. Let me know. I want to see the feedback, and I might even do a video addressing the feedback, because I'm looking at Dragon Ball from the outside. I haven't played the game. Maybe I did when it first came out. I bought like some starter decks and everything. I don't collect the cards, but I can see the potential in them. Looking at everything else. Anyway, see you later, guys. Have a good one.